Yo, what's up everyone? We're back for the final Enduro Diaries of the season. The final one for 2023. We're here in England. It is green and it is raining. And we're doing this Enduro Diaries from my parents' shed and dad's garage, full of everything. Everything that you might need in an English garden. From air rifles to fishing equipment to leaf blowers, you name it, we got it. But it's been a fun year, and we're going to end the year with a few days riding in the UK. So coming up on the channel, we're going to have some stuff from Cannock Chase, some stuff from Hopwas. We're going to be going to Dovey Bike Park, Forest of Dean, catching up with a bunch of the guys that I used to ride with, so I'm pretty stoked for that. And I've also put out on my Instagram a few days ago about some questions to answer, which I have now written down. And we're gonna go through them and just sort of round it out with a pretty chill video. Firstly, like, I've just had a bit of time now to like sort of go over the season in my head and really decide how I feel about it, which has been it's been like tough because I feel like I rode quite well, but just didn't have like the physicality for it towards the end with the illnesses and stuff, and really struggled. Lost a bit of like love for the sport because it was just that sort of determination like pulling you through. But I went back and like I've been starting on the trainer bike and stuff and watched a lot of the POVs from this season, and you know what, it's actually been some good riding out there, and some fun stuff. And as the off season progresses, I'm kind of getting that fire to come back and race again. We'll talk about a couple of venues or a couple of races that I might do next year. I'm definitely not going to do a full season. I won't be racing the full national series this year. I might pop out to a couple of rounds. I've literally just seen the national series drop, so the Sweet Cup for 2024. It's weird, a little bit disappointed. There was some amazing rumours going around of what it might be, but they didn't really come to fruition. So when you've heard what it could have been and what it actually is, it feels very samey. But we'll get into that later in the year. Once all the races are out, I'm going to do a video and we'll talk about everything that's coming up in Sweden, every race, every series, every venue, and go from there. But right, let's get into some questions. First question is from Frederick, and it is ice baths, yay or nay? For me, yeah, I love an ice bath. We live just around the corner from Stockholm in Älta, so I often like to go for a swim there. I have to say, since it is frozen over, I haven't managed to get down there. Last time I was in there was in October. It was pretty fresh by then. But if you see this from yesterday, this is me and my brother in the sea in Bournemouth, the beach where I grew up. And I have to say, that beach in the middle of December is pretty fresh. That was a chilly one. The coffee and brownie after that was much needed to keep me warm. Next question from Kevin Nelson. What did I think of the Daktot Pit venue? So we raced there in round 3 of the Götaland Enduro Series, and I actually think that was such a good venue. It's one of those places that it really shows what you can do with a small hill. They had 2 really well built flow trails, and I saw another trail there that wasn't in the race, and they both one of them actually went into a very fresh section, which was just using a small patch of woods with some pine trees, so you get the really good dirt there. And then on the other side there was a couple of more technical trails, and I actually thought, you know what, if you had this sort of stuff on your doorstep, there's so much there that you could like train on and work on, and you have like all the options, you know. Like I say, it's an example of what can be done with a small hill, and I can't remember, or I don't know if the GES is going back there, but if it is, I would highly recommend it. And if it's not, it's definitely somewhere to go and ride. Me and Alice will definitely be checking it out next season. So Daktot Pit is a big thumbs up for me. Next question is from Alice Lacey Ward, a friend of ours, and she asked the toughest question of the day. Who is cuter, Alice or Pig? And well, Pig as much as I like to believe she does sometimes, I don't think she can quite understand humans, so I don't think she's going to be offended when I say Alice is probably the cuter of the two. Now we have a string of questions from Ride and Develop. Obviously, Ride and Develop have supported me this season and helped out a lot, and we'll be continuing that into 2024 and looking to do some new sort of projects mixed in with the Yachterland Enduro series, so that's going to be super fun. So the first question from them is, looking at the thumbnails, there's a lot of negatives. What are the positives this year and positives from your elite riding career? It's a good question, and I actually saw this as well when I was going through the thumbnails. I could really see I tended to make more videos when stuff had gone wrong, and I feel like I just wanted to like say stuff out loud, because then all of a sudden you like you find it easier to like process it, I guess. Like once you hear it come out of your own mouth, then you can think about it a bit more. But yeah, and also like the positives, like when you have positives, they go out on Instagram straight away, you know, and everyone's happy to share positives, and it's not a problem. But the negatives, often I think people will hide this, or they'll say a little bit, or it'll be like, oh, things didn't go my way today, come back stronger or something, when really you want, like inside you're like, motherfucker, I trained so fucking hard for this race, and then on the first stage my chain snaps and it's fucking shit. And like as a racer, that's how we feel, like, and it's okay to feel like that. And I don't think everyone needs to always try and be this bigger person and be like, oh, it's, you know, it's tough, these things happen. Like, it's okay to admit that it's super frustrating. So I think that's why they sort of came across a bit negative. But I would like to be a bit more positive with them in the future for sure. But the positives from this year, I got P2 in Lottinger, which was really good, and a few seconds back from Tommy Varg, and ahead of Ville and Victor Lofsson in Stockholm, and all three of them are just top riders, and I really felt at that moment I was finding a new level to my riding, and that gave me such belief. And then I think the week after was when we went to Ulricehamn, and would have comfortably been in the top 10 there if things hadn't sort of gone the way they went. And yeah, that was a huge moment. And I think one of my big takeaways from the year is I managed to like find a vibe where I can ride at sort of 85% and just consistent. I think I have one crash this season across all races, maybe two, and considering that's 15 races, you know, with however many stages per race, it's a lot of race runs, and that's a level that I was quite happy with. And as you get like that bit older, like you maybe tone it down a few percent because you really want to refrain from these crashes because they hurt a lot more and it's harder to recover and all this, so you try and be a bit more consistent. So to do that and still be quite up there with the results I was happy with, I would like to make my 85% a bit higher next year, so the the results are a bit better. And it's hard to race like that on these really short stages. I think that that type of riding benefits a lot more from a longer track, but it was a definite change of tact from previous years, so we'll work on that. But positives, riding bikes, done 15 races, got round to see a lot of people and got to see some new venues, and seeing the Swedish scene grow a lot, really grow a lot, and that's always great. I'm really excited for where it's going. The next question from Ride and Develop: what spots am I excited to visit next year? Well, one, I went to Kisa a few weeks ago, that's on the channel, and went there in the wet. I am super duper buzzing to go back there in the spring in the dry. Got some big jumps to tick off, things that I didn't quite manage going there in the wet for the first time, and I'm quite excited for that. What other spots? I know that Ride and Develop have been working on a couple of venues, and I've seen some things that we should be expecting for next year, but I don't think I can talk about that yet. But there is one place, Skövde, and I know they've done a heap of work there, and I am well excited to go and check that out. There's so much riding there to explore, so we'll go and see what's going on there. I am going to find my way, it feels a bit boring, but I am going to find my way back to Order for the first time since 2021, I think. And yeah, we're gonna go and do a lot of filming there, and just see what it's about, because I just haven't been there in so long. So it's going to be nice to explore that and see what's up. Hey, Mum. So just jumping back in there after Mum made a little guest appearance. Spots that I want to visit next year. I'm actually gonna go and do one of the Danish, what is it, the Trail Cup Denmark series. I'm gonna go and check one of those out. And I'm also looking at going to do one of the Enduro Greek series races, just really to like spice it up a bit and go and like explore some new stuff and ride some different terrains and some different countries and just see some different racing cultures. I love seeing how different countries like mix it up and do different things. They said with 5 rounds in the Götaland Enduro in 2024, 2 rounds coming back as returning venues and 3 brand new rounds, do you think you'll be going for the overall? Well, I gotta say, congratulations to Axel for winning this year, but to be sharing the overall podium with someone who's literally half your age, it doesn't half light a fire under your butt. And the Götaland Enduro Series is the only series that I will be competing at every round at in 2024. So that would be like, yeah, that would be the one that I'll be going for again. Everything else I might do 1 or 2 races in here and there, but I won't be doing any other full series in 2024. And yeah, of course, like 3rd this year, and fuck, I can't wait to stop talking about it, but performances like dived a bit towards the end of the year, but I really feel like we're on it, we're training well and getting on top of the illnesses and stuff. So I feel like in 2024 I can come into it stronger. I know what I need to work on, and yeah, we'll be going all out again. So we will be going to the GES and we will be going for that goddamn overall. So let's see how we get on. Last question now from Ride and Develop. So best race venue and best race personally for 2023. I think maybe Ulricehamn was probably my favourite venue of the year. I think it lends itself so well to enduro. Like it's got the like easy sort of, or like cruisy gravel climb, and a selection of trails there, and it's at such a good gradient on all the tracks. Like it feels more like a selection of downhill tracks than a lot of what you get in Sweden, like the sort of really athletically demanding trails. So that's quite a nice change, and I really enjoy those tracks there. I also really enjoyed Arvika. I think that was some excellent racing, and they've managed to keep that quite fresh year after year. So I'm looking forward to going back there again. What else was there? Bankerid in the Götaland series, that was really good. That's definitely somewhere that if you're driving in that area, it's somewhere to stop and check out. That was a really good race. For me personally, best race has to be Lottinge. That was like with the riders that were there and the venue that it was, I was really happy with my performance. Managed to attack on every trail, not make any mistakes, and be really settled. And I think that was about the last race before my stomach gave out and things started to really take a nosedive for the season. But I felt in such a good place. I think I got it the wrong way around earlier. I think that was the week after Ulricehamn and the penalty. So I was super duper fired up. Yeah, so that was really enjoyable. Or like nice to get that first ever, like, or nice to get that second place quite early on in the series, which left me right in the battle for the top spots all season. So that was good. Albin Orgren says, as for the best tips for a 15-year-old trying to like progress as a rider, like time on a bike at that age is so important, and honestly, like, worrying about results and stuff isn't so much of a thing at that age. I don't think. It's just building that experience. So you want to try and what I would suggest anyway, it would be try and get as much riding in as you can with like people your own age and sort of similar ability levels, but then also try and mix in a few rides with other riders that are possibly more experienced and faster than yourself, and just try and like find what they're doing different, what their process is, what they're looking at. That's something that I did. Although I was the more experienced one, it's something I started doing with Philip and Hampus a few years ago, and they really opened my eyes to what I need to be looking for a bit more. And you really feel that like all these different layers like build up over time, and you just slowly progress. And also at that age, like, don't worry too much about the immediate, like, because everyone grows and matures like physically and mentally in different speeds, you know. So some people can peak quite early and fade off, some people it can take longer, but you just got to remember that you're on your own journey. You're not racing Bob or Derek either side of you, you're just doing yourself, and you just got to focus on your performance. And for me, like, some of my best feelings after races are not when the result's good, it's when the performance is better. For example, this year when I raced at Flotsborough, that was actually on paper my best result of the season, but I felt afterwards that my performance wasn't actually that great, and it was a bit disappointing. Whereas like Arvika, I finished maybe 15th or something, but with everything going on at the time, I was actually so buzzing on my performance. So it's yeah, focus on performance over like result on paper, I think. And then if you can fit it in, get in the gym. It never hurts. You know, that extra strength always helps out. And there's plenty of people you can look at on Instagram to like see what direction you should be doing that. But it's your own journey, man. Just keep working out. Rasmus, off of Rasmus Adventures, you would have seen him at a few Sweet Cups over the last few years. He races on a Hardtail GT, and he asks, which makes sense now, should there be a Hardtail class? Now, I don't think there necessarily should be a Hardtail class, just because there's so few people doing it, and having been involved in varying degrees on a few races, especially this season. Hey, caddy. I don't know how much like for the effort you have to put in to organize an extra class and everything. It seems like if you've only got 2 or 3 people in it, that might be a bit much work. But don't stress, because any race we've done where you see a hardtail guy riding there, you look at it and go, geez, man, like, fair play, because some of the stuff we ride to do it on a hardtail is bloody hard work. But it may be in like smaller races, like local races, maybe there's enough people riding hardtail and you can stick a class together in that, you know. Or you can organise a hardtail specific event, which would be quite funny. Some like grass track hardtail stuff would be sick. Matthias von Holm, who we know of GES, I know his kids are big fans and watchers of the channel. Thanks for the support. I was there when you first started racing, and we spoke a bit before the Grenada race, and I've watched sort of the progress through there. So well done, mate, for doing your first ever Enduro season to start. Yes, when things go bad, how do you keep going and how do you stay motivated? It's just competitiveness, you know, like hate losing, and that's what really like drives me on. I just want to try and do the best I can with what I've got. And I felt like I came to the sport, like I missed like a lot of my middle years of the sport and came back to it quite late, and feel like I've been riding better and better and better, and this year, last year, I'm doing some of the best riding I've ever done, and you feel like you're close to getting some good results, and just keep like pushing on from there. But yeah, I can't lie, like it's pretty frustrating, especially when I knew like this was my last year that I was going to go all out in nationals in the elite class, and I was really aiming for like at the start of the season I wanted to be in the top 5 come the end of the year, and I was putting myself in a position where that was achievable. And yeah, sure, like when the fatigue of this stomach stuff kicks in, you just lose, like you lost so much drive. There were some really like down moments in there, to be honest. You done? No, you good. There were some really down moments in there where you're like, just like, what's the point, man? But when it comes to the race day, you still like, the mind like it can just pull you through and get you over it. Mind and caffeine anyway. But the motivation was low because I knew I just didn't have the physical energy to train, and you just felt every race your level was dropping off and off and off, but the points like stuff was still achievable, so you could keep pushing. So it's not always like you don't wake up every day and you're like, oh, I want to be the best. I can be. There were plenty of days in the second half of the season where you woke up and just went, fuck man, this sucks. But yeah, you learn from it and move on. Like, I don't think I'll ever do a year where I do 15 races in a year ever again. Like, it was too much. I think you're done. Hey? This is Cosmo for anyone interested. Off you go. So Goose with the hard-hitting questions. How do I keep my hair so fair and flowy whilst playing in the dirt and the woods? The trick I find is just to not wash it, and then when you realise that you're getting old and your hair is losing all its colour, just put some hair dye in there, and yeah, it's all good. It's all groovy. I like to leave it for like a good few weeks sometimes, let it all get nice and matted up. I think it looks dope, and then Alice will see it and be like, Ollie, man, clean your goddamn hair. Yeah, fair enough. And I'm just trying to hold on to it as long as possible, because if family history has taught me anything, then this do ain't gonna be there forever. So we'll lose it at some point, but don't worry, these blonde locks will be coming to a race near you next season. Final question, and it is from one and only Alice Barton, and she says, if you were going to be stranded on a desert island, would you rather be stranded with Alice or your bike? To be honest, I have to say it would really depend on how much elevation there is on this island. If it's got some good elevation, then yeah, maybe it's the bike, eh? But yeah, cool. Thanks everyone for like sending in your questions, and thanks for all the support this year. We've done some great things, and really happy with the direction the channel's going in. Really excited for stuff next year. We've got a lot of plans, and it's going to be a little bit different, but we're going to have some guys like filming some POVs from the races instead of me, like the ones that I'm not going to. So there's going to be a few less race vlogs, but then we're going to do a few more destination stuff. So that's going to be pretty exciting. Yeah, like certainly if you've made it this far into the video, don't forget to like it, don't forget to subscribe along, and yeah, follow us on, and we'll keep trying to grow it and keep trying to spread the word of Enduro. And yeah, keep it locked, because there's a heap of stuff coming from the UK, and it is raining. It is 12 degrees. I am fucking stoked to get my bike out tomorrow and go and rip around in some fucking British mud. Oh my god, yes. Thanks everyone, peace out, catch you soon, Merry Christmas.